What's going on, people? Um, Happy holidays and all of that. So this is like a quick random update video. Um, you know, to my friends out there who like to motivate me, like because these past 2.5 years have been, really difficult. Um, losing someone close to me, and all of that. But if I upload this on different platforms, I guess I don't know what to call it, like ADHD, self doubt and all of that, grief of losing someone. But I'm just thinking over the holidays. I've been doing way better. Um, you know, it's about to be 3 years since my brother passed away, March 16th, 2023. And I guess grief is crazy. A lot of people who have lost someone knows how hard it is. I have a friend who lost a brother 4 years ago. You know, he was sadly, murdered. But it still affects them to this day. Um, because he was young, early 20s. Um, but my brother, passed away from cancer, but at the age of 42. So, and then seeing that slow decline fuck with me for a long time. I shouldn't say slow, actually, it was fast. Um, what I meant to say was the first time he had cancer in 2015, he had thyroid and he beat it. Did chemo, did radiation, did all of that. Um, and when it came back the second time, I thought that, I mean, I was worried, but, you know, when you see someone who's strong as fuck and they beat it the first time, you think that um, they're gonna do it again. Mm. This shit came back with a vengeance. It was all over the place: lung, liver, pancreas. And once you hear pancreas, it's the max is like 3 years. Only 15% make it to 3 years. So when we heard that, it was like, oh great. But to see the how fast it was spreading and how quickly it was, you know, killing him slowly. Well, not slowly, but I don't know. And then the day that he passed in the hospital, I was there. So that fucked with me for a long time, and I've tried to cope in different ways for like 2 years. The first year I tried to do different things. Y'all know, like, I had a couple videos that went viral like 2 months after he passed away. That video with me dancing to DJ Jazzy Vibes, one of the dance, what was it called again? Moonwalk, and that shit went viral. It had like over 1 million views on Instagram. And I try to cope by sticking to dancing, because even when my brother was sick, he loved my dancing videos. Even before that, he was loving it. He was like, dude, I love how you're doing this. I love your reaction channel on YouTube. I love your other content. Like, keep it up. This is good. He was like, yo, keep dancing. Even when he was sick, he's like, yo, I saw it. He was like, that's good. And, to see someone like that, and they I thought by doing that, it would make him, happier. And then talking about wrestling sometimes, because he loved wrestling growing up. So, and he's the one, him and my other brother, my oldest brother, Jimmy, are kind of got me into wrestling. Fun fact, my older brother, Jimmy, was a dancer back in the days, break dancing and all of that, pop locking and, what I'm saying, all of that. So, but George, he wasn't a dancer. He was just 6'2.5" and fucking strong as fuck for no reason. But yeah, like I try to cope with it and try to remain positive, but the 2 years went by so fast and so slow at the same time. It was just like, You know what I'm saying? It was just crazy. And over the holidays, I think about it a lot, but it's like I think I'm at the point now where I just gotta live with it, and I'm not letting it affect me how it was the first 2 years. Um, so first 2 years for me is from March 16th of 2023 till I say in the middle of the summer of this year is when I kind of started feeling like myself again. So, um, I don't want people to think like I'm still like depressed or like, even though I get into that mood here and there, I don't want people to think like I'm gonna stop my content. You know what I'm saying? Like as you see, I got dancing videos with my nieces and my nephew, and then I just dropped I did 2 videos with my niece um during the holidays. So, and I've been doing stuff on my reaction channel again, but I took a break from the dancing because I wasn't in good shape for like a while. Even though in y'all can see my weight was fluctuating from 23 and 24. Like even when I did that video with Bigger and we was doing the video to the Jazzy Vibes thing, I had put on some weight and then my weight was fluctuating through there. And then 2024, like I had a video where I was slimmer and then I just put it on again because I was stress eating. You know what I'm saying? And my family has that issue. A lot of people in my family, our weight fluctuates. I feel like we actually put it on quicker than we do lose it, and it sucks. But over the summer, I just like really reflected on myself, like just as someone with I said a million times with ADHD and trying to be organized with everything and balancing things out, which I've never really been good at. Balance this out, work-life balance, side hustle balance, like, not to the point where you burning yourself out, but I would burn myself out because I didn't make the best decisions when I was younger. So I was like, if I gotta try to double up this money and hustle harder in order to like get back on my feet. But you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I burn myself out. Yeah. I was like, just really thinking about shit and actually jotting shit down, like taking notes and saying what I want to do, actually writing it down, saving it in my phone too on my notes, but also writing it down, you know, and just going over it and saying, okay, this is what I need to do to balance out the day. How can I be more organized? You know what I'm saying? So, earlier this year, for those of you who know that I was like talking about it a lot, this is something I do as a fucking, when I be thinking I got to do something like to fucking ADHD nervousness, not even nervousness, like just always gotta fucking do something. I was like 250. I was 250 pounds. And, even though I was working out, it wasn't muscle. And then my gym consistency wasn't really there. I was 250. Y'all could see in some of the videos how bloated I was. And I just wasn't in the right mind state. You know what I'm saying? You know, then, I was at a job for a couple of years and then I wanted to explore like different opportunities, and that led me to bounce from job to job, and just like shit was out of my control. I would lose this job because of this, got into an argument because this person is thought that I was soft and I had to put them in a place, almost getting physical with them because I was already irritated, not in a happy place mentally because of my brother. And because of my personality, when you are an open person and you're kind to everybody, and and they know about your social media, and they see that you like to tell jokes, they think that that you soft. And then when you got to put them in their place, they try to turn it around on you, acting like you the bad guy. Yeah, that's happened to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude acting like he wants to get physical, and I'm not a tough guy. Never acted like I wanted to be. But when I was ready to throw down, motherfucker was like, look at him, boss. So who's really the bitch? So it's like, I've been put in situations like that with certain jobs, and I was like, well, if I got to work with this type of shit with these cutthroat people, like, what the fuck am I doing? I've worked at jobs like that, people cutthroating and, like, kick you down in order for them to climb up the ladder. And I don't do that. I don't fuck with shit like that. If I'm a part of a team, I believe that we're all climbing that ladder to success together. I got people to the left of me, the right of me, and we're both climbing up. And if you start losing balance, I'm holding that shit for you and helping you climb up. I'm not one of these people that's cutthroat. So then that came to self-doubt, like, I can't work these jobs because I'm not cutthroat. And that's a negative way to think too. But all of this, losing my brother and experiencing all of this, it puts you in a negative mind state. And I wouldn't say for a year. I'm sorry if I lost track. My ADHD, I'm sorry if I lost track, but like last year, in 2024, I was in a negative mind state. I was thinking about, I'm good with people, but if I get into a sales job, motherfuckers is cutthroat. If I try to do this, motherfuckers is cutthroat. You know what I'm saying? In my younger days, I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do, and I wasted a lot of time because I doubted myself because I'm not a handy guy. Like, I thought that I couldn't do blue collar work because I don't have any experience. And if I could go back in time, I would do that. Because for a long time, people talk shit about the blue collar workers, but guess what? They're needed more now than ever because everybody wanted to be fucking marketing and fucking IT, whatever the fuck it is, working at home, working with computers. You know what I'm saying? And they can't even change a fucking tire, and they're calling people just to change a fucking tire. I would have been a mechanic. I would have went back and actually did that, but now I'm 35 and I'm like, it's like, I'm gonna have to pay for school, pay for this in order to do this. I don't know. I was just looking at shit negatively last year because I was just experiencing a lot of negativity. And I guess because I was just not happy, still trying to cope with the grief. You know what I'm saying? And to go back to what I was trying to say about, friends trying to be motivational, I butt heads with a few people, but we're still cool. It's nothing like beef. We butt heads with family and friends who try to motivate each other. Sometimes it's like, you understand where they're coming from, but sometimes they don't understand what you're going through. Some people can understand, but there's some people that don't understand. And sometimes you gotta, bump heads for a little bit, argue in order for them to get your point. Because some people just they don't always see it someone else's way. And it's not their fault. Not many people are that good to see it and you see it your way. So again, to those people who, want to motivate me, and I appreciate it because guess what? The motivation is there. As I said before, I was 250 pounds this year. As you can see, do I look 250 right now? I'm 218. I weighed myself this morning. I've been hitting the gym 5 days a week, non-stop. I slip up. It's the holidays. I may have slipped up, had some sweets, because that's my addiction. That is my addiction. I can eat a lot, and I can keep going until I feel like I ate a cow. But I've been trying to fight that. Then I've been cutting out all the processed shit. And as someone who has family members who have medical issues such as diabetes and cancer, We all know what happens when we eat a lot of processed garbage. That can progress those issues, and I don't want to be someone on that end. And some people who even eat healthy and exercise still end up getting some kind of, sadly. And I wish that this wasn't happening to people, but it's not just in our food; it's fucking in the air. I don't know. So I don't want to be in that position. So, and then looking at myself, and then I had to shave, for the job. Um, I saw more of it. I saw the double chin after when I had to shave. I was like, looking down at my phone, I saw the fat hanging, and I said, yo, I gotta change. Luckily I could do this again, but you know, um, yeah, it was just bad. I ran track when I was younger. I could run for miles, and I mean, I was tired, but shit. When I got back to the gym, I couldn't even do 20 crunches. I used to do 50 in a row, 50 nonstop. I used to do, I did like, there was a point in my life I did like, I think 40 or 50 push ups nonstop. And to see that I couldn't do that was hard. That shit pissed me off. In some of these dancing videos that I was getting tired, and I couldn't even, I felt like I wasn't executing the moves the right way. I was like, damn, I can't even do these dancing videos. And y'all know I would never half-ass a video at all. And as any dancer I know, you will not half-ass a video just because you want to upload it. Just because a few people told you to dance to it. I don't see it that way. I don't see people telling me, yo, you should dance to this. Oh, I'm just going to upload it for my people. Or even all my followers or my friends or my subscribers. Oh, I'm just going to upload it because they want it. They want it. No, I'm not half-assing nothing for no, just to say I did it. And to give people a half-ass video. I'm not doing that. As much as I love dancing or comedy, I'm not half-assing nothing. I'm doing this because I love it. And I'm in the love that I get from everybody is appreciated. Because if it wasn't for people, like you watching right now, watching a video that's probably going to be longer than 20 minutes, that's greatly appreciated because a 5-minute video is too long for people nowadays. But if it wasn't for people like you and y'all on Instagram, TikTok, my shit would be nothing. I would just be dancing. But people share it, they like it, they comment, and that motivates me. But when you go through that grief and that self-doubt, and then you lose that passion, like you're like, yo, I don't want to give people, if I can't give them what I want to give them, why should I give them a half-ass video? We can have fun and do a video that's like a light dancing video where it's like, yo, at least I put my energy into it. And that was the main thing. Even if it's a video where it's like a routine that's not that big, I want to put my energy into it. This freaking tablecloth is like, I want to put my energy into it. I don't want to look energyless. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that even a fucking word? I don't want to look like I'm fucking, hopefully this goes viral. Nah, I'm going to have my energy into it, even if it's a funny video. And it's not to be that serious. I want to look good, happy. You know what I'm saying? And I lost that. So, again, for those of you who are asking, just know it's coming back, because even though I've been hitting the gym, I've been hitting the dance moves again, and dusting off some of that rust, getting some of that rust off, because I didn't like how I was moving and looking in the videos. You know what I'm saying? And then doing more cardio like how I used to do. Lifting weights is important, but cardio is important as well. Stairmaster, elliptical, treadmill. And if you can't do treadmill, do elliptical, do Stairmaster. You know what I'm saying? And then do more ab workouts, because abs is one of those muscles you could do every day. You know what I'm saying? And your core strength is another thing. Like, you could be just running and shit like that. You got to increase your core strength. That'll even tighten you up even more. Because I used to have that, and I'm getting it back. So yeah, to those of you who or waiting patient, not even waiting, but just like, yo, we missed the videos. Like, it's coming back. You know, I'm getting back to where I was before. I even look younger compared to what I earlier this year. I was out of shape, big as hell, 250, and stressed out. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't feel like I'm not stressed out as I used to be, because during the summertime, I don't know, like I just felt like, I let that kind of go. But even though it's a holiday, sometimes me and my brother, you know, and the rest of my family, it kind of affects us in a way because it's the third holiday without my brother. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, the memories come back, and sometimes those feelings come back. But yeah, I just want everybody to know, like, and especially those of you who always check in on me, I appreciate it. But I'm glad that some people can see it my way. When you lose someone that close to you, sometimes you lose that passion. And then when that happening, and then quickly, like, shit with work is not going well because people are playing favoritism, you know what I'm saying, and cutthroat, you know what I'm saying, and you explore another opportunity and you thought it was good, and then you felt like you wasted all your time, and then you were jobless and having to do fucking DoorDash and Uber for like a few months, you know what I'm saying, because while you were looking for another job, you got to make money. And sometimes that's not fucking good enough. And then the car, something bad happens to the car, and I got to pay for repairs and shit like that. It's just, a lot of shit happened back to back. And, you know what I'm saying? And then being someone who has my disorder, you know what I'm saying? Like, not saying I have it worse than anybody else. There's people who have worse than me. But, with bad focus and bad and not so great at balancing things out, it makes people think that you don't care, that you like don't give a fuck, when that's not the case. A lot of people don't know the issues that I had because I didn't even know how to explain it. I didn't know how to explain that my mind goes a million places. I'm reading something, and it's like certain words trigger a fucking thought process that goes this way, and I'm trying to stay this, and I'm trying to stay right here. People don't understand like how fucking difficult that is. And I'm trying to do this, and then also, with these jobs, you got to multitask and do this. I'm trying to focus on this, and I'm trying to focus on that, and by the time I focus on that, I forget to do this. They want you to do a million things, and then you forget one thing. It's a fucking problem. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where, I tend to fail at. These fucking places dumping 100 things on you, and I just can't. Sometimes I just have a difficult time memorizing all of these things at once. And this is the reason why I don't really fuck with a lot of people, because they don't see it that way. And when you try to explain it, you want to punch them in the fucking face. Because it's like, and I don't want to be that dude. I don't want to punch somebody in the fucking face because they're like, oh, what's your problem? What the fuck is your problem? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I get frustrated, and then I get mad, and then it's like, when I get mad and then I get confrontational, I get looked at like I'm the fucking bad guy. So it's just like, yo, like I'm better off just fucking not, like, I don't know, getting a fucking remote job. But I can't do that because I don't have a fucking, I don't know, like, I don't know what the fuck. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, yo, yeah, I mean, it's just crazy shit, y'all. And then, so, with all that happening, and then I've had my self-doubts, like, I don't know if I'm good enough for this job because of this, because of that, and stuff like that. You like, man, well, hold up. I'm having this self-doubt. I'm sabotaging myself at the same time. Just like how a lot of y'all know, with the dancing and some of the skits I do, I've always wanted to be an actor or do acting. But in my early 20s, you know what I'm saying, like when I was getting popular with the dancing, and I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do with life other than that. I didn't know how to capitalize on it. I didn't know how to like. It sucks to say it's like I needed a guidance counselor with me, or somebody that's like that can walk me through everything. You know what I'm saying? In my 20s, I had the mindset of a fucking teenager still. And it was only in my late 20s, early 30s where I felt like I finally, and I don't know how it happens. I guess this happens to a lot of people with my issue, but like, I, it's like I wish I had the thought process that I have now when I was in my 20s. In my 20s was just like, it was still like I was in high school. Like I was just like, oh, all over the fucking place. And because, growing up, not having much, you know, my mom, you know, didn't make a lot of money. And then, you know, me and my brothers, we were trying to do the best we could. And then, I started making my own money with a bullshit job, in my late teens, early 20s, working at a grocery store. As soon as I get my check, I'm going to New York City. New York City's not that far, but still paying for a train ticket, eating at random places that aren't high end, but still like I'm taking a train to go out to the city, going to the city 3-4 days out, 3-4 days out of the week, because growing up, I only went when I was with people. You feel me? And because to drive to New York, I didn't have a driver's license, and as a teenager, you know, you gotta wait for somebody or to drive you there, or take the train with somebody. You know what I mean? So when I was making my own money, even though it wasn't a lot, I was like, oh, I feel independent. And I didn't say none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't thinking like a lot of people were. Because my thought process was off. You know what I'm saying? And New York to me was like, the big deal, because that's New York City. It's like the number one most popular city other in LA. But I just wasn't good, just wasn't smart with the money, because I didn't feel like and I take accountability, but it's just like they don't teach us this shit in school. You know what I'm saying? They don't teach you that, like, yo, yeah. But it is what it is. We live and we learn. It's not to be depressed about it, but it is what it is. And because of all these setbacks is the reason why I'm at where I'm at right now. My mind all over the place. Am I making the right decisions right now, and all of that? But back to the self doubt, and in when in my early 20s, I saw, like, with acting school and shit like that. But at that time, 40,000, and you're looking like, well, how am I gonna get that? You know what I'm saying? Like, try to work and then take the train in New York all the time, even though it's like an hour train ride to the city. Is you know what I'm saying? Or if I get a car or whatever, like, fucking parking in Manhattan, fuck no. You're better off taking the train to Manhattan. Everybody knows that, especially New Yorkers. You're better off taking the train to Manhattan. If you go to the Bronx, you could drive. If you go to Brooklyn, you could drive. But Manhattan, and all that fucking parking prices, fuck no. Take the train. Creating bullshit. Unless you know where you can find free parking or some shit. And if you can find it, compared in that city, motherfuckers is beating you to it. But I had that self-doubt, like, I'm going to pay for this and then try to work and try to do this. Like, I'm going to kill myself. But that's the self-doubt and the ADHD and the fucking, like, how am I and not good at balancing things out. I could probably do it now, but it's just, I would have at least, went to school for acting, and like, maybe that would have helped me more or some shit, or yeah. But it is what it is. That's one thing I could share with people too. Like, if you feel like you have that doubt and scared that you're gonna fail at it, at least you could say that you failed and you tried. I mean, I think everybody has regrets, but you don't want to have a lot of regrets to say, yo, if I would have just tried it. I was afraid to put myself in debt, but like, it is what it is. Or take a loan out, because you know how they charge you for taking a fucking loan. and I got to work and pay student loans while trying to pay for an apartment or whatever, pay for a car. Like, yeah, but um, it is what it is. And then, you know, if that's one thing I can share with people, at least take the chance, take the risk. If you fail at it, if anybody shames you for failing, they could eat a dick, straight up. At least you tried something and failed at it, and it didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to live with me if I would have just at least tried it. It doesn't kill me, you know, but I'm saying, like, if I would have at least tried it. And then it's never too late to do that. You can, I think there's like websites you could do like small roles and shit like that, but sometimes that only leads to other small roles. But it is what it is. Who knows? You never know who you can meet. But um, yeah, you know, I've had that self doubt when it came down to other opportunities, um, or even when I didn't, and at least I tried with certain sales jobs. Like, you know, I'm good with people, but I'm not good with balancing these things out. But sometimes it is bullshit at certain jobs, though. And I've experienced it where they dump so much on you because they don't want to do the work. They dump all of this bullshit on you and expect you to do it all with no extra increase in pay, no bonus, no, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Um, but yeah, that was my, you know, that's just all of that in a bundle. You know, if you're still watching this video for over 30 minutes, you a real one, because you know what I'm saying, I try to stay organized. I'm not so organized with these videos, but it is what it is, and explaining all of this. Um, but yeah, you know, and I just want everybody to know that I'm, you know, if you're waiting for dancer videos, it's coming back. You know what I'm saying? 40 pounds down and like maybe 20 more to go. You know, just to where I'm just lean, and you know what I mean, you can see the muscles again. Because I mean, you can't really see them, and you know, you can't really see them. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I just got, you know, maybe like 15, 20 more pounds leaner, whatever, to where you can see them again. You know what I mean? People be complimenting my neck. Yeah. I gotta take roids. Um, but yeah, you know, I just wanted to share that too, you know. Sometimes, like, sometimes you're gonna bump heads with people that want to be motivational. And I could just say to some people who are motivational, and you think someone's not listening, they are, but you don't know what the fuck they're going through, especially when that person loses someone. So, you know, the few people I bumped heads with, they'll probably see this and be like, yeah, you're right. But it is what it is. We've already talked about it, but I'm just explaining it in the video, like, you know, to some of those who, you know, if somebody's bumping heads with you and you're trying to motivate them, understand that, like, you know, everybody's process is different. If they're not listening to you and they're not saying, at least like appreciating your advice, I get it. But if they're appreciating your advice, just understand this, you're listening to it. And then self-doubt and self-sabotage, you know what I'm saying? Like, me sharing about, you know, doing the acting thing and not doing it because I was scared to put myself in debt or whatever, or trying to balance things out. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's a big risk where you feel like, you know what I'm saying, you know, put yourself in $100,000 in debt. I'm not saying to do that, you know, but, you know, even if it still didn't work out, at least I would have gotten like a certificate for acting or whatever. Or would it be a degree or like a certificate? Like, yo, you're certified, like you've been, you know, that you're a great actor, and you know your professor or teacher says that, yo, you passed, and and they can see you doing Broadway or being on the big screen, whatever. You know, um, you don't want to live with that regret. You don't want to live with that, you know, saying I could have, you know, you could have just tried. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing I wanted to share. And then also, like, you know, if I was diagnosed when I was younger as ADHD, and if you've never been diagnosed, maybe you could have it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of people have some form of it, but some of those are worse than others. You know what I'm saying? I tend to get, you know, when there's so many things that are thrown at me and told that you got to do it in a certain time, I get flustered. You know what I'm saying? I go like, fuck, what? Oh, okay. Compared to other people, they're cool, calm, and collective. Me, I still learn to do that, to be balanced and like, okay, take a breath, you could do this. And I feel like I've gotten better throughout the years with that too. The older I've gotten, same thing, like I said, like the mindset, like of, you know, knowing what the fuck I want to do now and do this and be focused on this. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So I guess that's an update, you know, like, you know, people waiting for dancing videos, people waiting for this, like not even waiting, but just again, you know what I'm saying? It's coming. And I just needed to get right. Some of us need a break to get right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I appreciate everybody. You know what I'm saying? And I just remembered, oh my God, man. About how I view even social media negatively because of the shit that I was experiencing in real life and seeing the type of people that were getting popular on social media and doing, I could say demonic shit. You know what I'm saying? And then I was like, how am I going to compete with that? You don't want to think that way either. Fuck what these evil people are doing. Fuck what these negative people are doing, promoting fights and baddies and mob wives and fucking drugs and sex and all of that. Fuck them. If you're doing something genuine, if you're doing genuine content and keeping it real, who says you can't go viral keeping it PG? There's plenty of content creators keep going viral keeping it PG. And if anything, that's like the best way to do it. But guess what? I like to curse sometimes. You know, with my joking, I curse just talking. You know what I'm saying? It's not the best thing, but you know, sometimes I keep it real and I curse. But I don't want to curse 24/7. But my pages, my channels and everything, I consider it like teenagers and up because it's definitely not PG with my cursing. But yeah, again, don't look at that negatively. And just keep pushing. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep doing your content. Someone is watching you. You know what I'm saying? I Show Speed said it. He said I had that one viewer that turned into a few viewers, and just kept gradually. That's what kept them motivated. So just keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you guys for watching this long ass video and me trying to explain everything in one. And the reason why, you know, I've been on and off with my content, but yeah. So thank you for watching as always. I appreciate you guys. I wouldn't be here without you, and because of your love and support, I'm here and doing this, and I have all this shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I see y'all. Peace, love, and all of that.